Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be painting the engine bay to my 1968 Mustang Fastback. We're continuing the project here for the Coyote swap. We've done so much to get to this point already, from disassembly to completely taking out the motor, cutting the car, welding their cross member, clearing out all of the rust. Now today, we're doing something that I've been looking for quite a while here, and that's to make it a little bit better looks-wise than it was before. So we're gonna go from this to this. So I actually got this idea from Bryce. He's the one, my welder, that has been throughout this full project. You guys have seen throughout the videos as well. He recommended truck bed coating. This is simply a coating that you're supposed to do in truck beds, but it will also work here for the engine bay. It's a very, very thick coating. It dries like a matte finish as well. I do not want gloss. The last thing I wanted to do was gloss, even though it would have been really nice. I do want to remind you, the goal for this car is a Coyote swap, not a SEMA type build, museum type build, which a lot of people end up going for, or a Barrett Jackson type car. My goal here is simply to put a Coyote motor in, and this is the best way in my situation that we could have gone for. So you can pick up a bottle, 10 bucks per bottle. I picked up 8 bottles, so $80. I also picked up some supplies, some acetone, some wire wheels, more wire wheels, some plastic cloth. This is used, but plastic cloth's like $2. Masking tape, and that's it. So before we get started painting, let's go ahead and fix the rust issue. As you guys seen previously, I watched you guys' comments down below. A lot of you guys did point out the rust and what I should do to reinforce the frame. 2 in 1. So let's go ahead and fix the rust, reinforce the frame, and then prep for paint. Also, if you have not yet subscribed, make sure to do so down below, as well as give it a big thumbs up. Follow the journey that we have here with the classic Mustang, the Coyote swap. Now that Bryce has finished up with the full rust situation, let's go ahead and prep the car, which is paint. Bodywork is always 90% prep, 10% paint, and then we're gonna go ahead and jump right into this car and have some fun. Look how cool this is. So essentially my duct taping did not do anything. Anyways, we stripped all the black, and look at this cool burgundy red, or I'm not entirely sure what coat this is. This could be the primer, this could be the original rail. I'm not entirely sure. This paint is pretty cool. We got a majority of this simply with a power wash, and we also have this panel as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and just wash this here, degrease it, rinse it out one more time, and then we should be good for the rest of the prep. Time to use this degreaser. Now that we have let the degreaser sit for a couple minutes, I do have the chemical guys, just normal car wash. Gonna spray it down, pre-wash it again, and then that should pretty much get all the gunk out as best I can before we do stuff manually. So let's go ahead and spray her down. I scrubbed the full engine bay with a cloth, just like a normal car wash. Now let's go ahead and rinse her off, and we should be okay. We'll see how if all this gunk comes off. All right, here it is. We have the engine bay washed. We have the engine bay rinsed, washed, degreased, and stripped for the most part. Now we have to go ahead and take a wire brush, prep it even more, because there are some spots that did not get off. Once we get that acetone to clean it all up. So I'd never used a wire brush in my life, but I just tested in a smaller area. It looks pretty cool. So if I could do it, Anybody could do it. Let's get started by just going panel by panel, erasing as much as we possibly can, and we should be good. Now that we have pretty much the full frame all welded up, got rid of the rust on this end, which is the worst, we're gonna go ahead and Bondo this. I'm gonna go ahead and just lay some Bondo over this, cover the holes with Bondo as well, let it harden, and here's the end result. I just did some quick Bondoing on the places that were pretty rough, as well as cover the holes. So, and I'm just gonna power wash this, tape it up, prep it up. We finally got all the rust out, majority of the holes out, and well, that's the best it's gonna get. I don't wanna spend too much time, too much money on this. I just wanna go ahead and black it out. So then we can go ahead and finally put everything together. So this is pretty much the end result before we start painting. Now, I can already see the comments already why I didn't take this to a body shop. And let me go ahead and explain 3 reasons why we didn't go down that route. So if you haven't noticed right behind me, the car has no wheels, no suspension. It's levitating on a quick jack. Shout out to Quick Jack for also sponsoring the channel as well. In order to get this going, I would have to put together the suspension, put together the rear end, take it to the body shop, undo everything basically where we came from, and then do the full paint and prep. So that's reason number 1. Reason number 2, it's very, very expensive for these particular cars. So to take it to a body shop, I was quoted about $5,000 to $10,000 depending on their full inspection, looking at the condition of it. And honestly, I'm already very, very deep in this build money-wise when it comes to just getting the engine, getting the suspension, the full kits, and everything needed to get this going. So those 2, as well as number 3, the turnaround time for a body shop to do this was a minimum of 3 months to go ahead and even get started. Body shops, at least the trusted body shops that are high quality body shops that I would trust moving on forward with this project, we're booked up for about 3 months on average, and then it'll take an additional 1 to 2 months to actually finish this full project. So with time, with money, and with the car not being mobile at all, it resulted in me of doing something that I'm kind of don't regret at all, because it was super, super fun, and that's painting the engine bay myself. We have the rust all covered up in these 2 pillars, all good to go. We currently have the Bondoed all of the holes so that we have a nice clean surface. So what we are going to be painting the engine bay with is truck bed coating. This is just going to give us that matte black, clean, subtle finish to go ahead and cover everything in one uniform color. This is supposed to cover rust, which we do have some surface rust, as you guys see here. I'm not gonna get too much into details because that's lots of hours of labor, and I just simply want this car to be done. It's gonna harden very tough. It's gonna have that rigid, nice texture to it. And this is exactly what I wanted, a nice matte finish so that it looks at least decent putting the motor in. But I'm very curious to see how this is going to perform.
Darling,
Guys, one of the coolest things ever is, I don't know if you remember all of the imperfections that were on there. You can still kind of see it here, a little bit there. But the more coats I add of this truck bed liner, the more it disappears, because this is so thick and it dries really, really rough. So I'm gonna keep on adding coats till it's a pretty smooth outline. And this is the end result. Not too bad for a $100 paint job. I'm telling you guys, this particular truck bed coating, I got Harbor Freight, but it is the Rust-Oleum truck bed coating, is probably the coolest paint I've ever done. It's very, very forgiving. It's very, very easy. A novice could use it with absolutely zero experience, just like me, and it came out very, very good. Now that we finished this, I want to show you guys more into detail. So I'm currently underneath the car, and you could see I did all of the underneath. I really like the texture that it brings. It is pretty cool. You get that truck bed lining, and this is something that I really wanted, something very simple. And here's the firewall. So far, so good. Now that we have that, the next step that we'll be doing is the suspension and the full rest of the brakes, everything that is involved within the center. So, and here's what it looks like on the inside of the wheel well. I'll see you guys on the next one. We're going to be doing suspension, as well as a big surprise coming on the channel very, very shortly. So see you guys on the next. Deuces.